$200,000 to upgrade this SR22 G3 from a 15-year-old Avionics system to a state-of-the-art all Garmin panel. In this video, we're going to take you through the entire process from day one, which was 8 weeks ago, to today, where we're going to take it to a test flight to see if the whole process was worth it.
Before we time travel back to day one, we are very excited to already share with you the final results. Are you ready?
The rebuild can be dissected into 10 steps. Step 1. Removal of all old avionic equipment. In step 2, most of the interior elements have to be removed, followed by step 3, where the old wiring and antennas are scraped out. 4. Staging and labeling of the new system in the lab. 5. Fitting the new wiring and installing the motors for the autopilot as well as the new antennas. In step 6, the panel for the PFD and MFD will be created and adjusted for the cockpit. 7. Installation of new equipment, followed by a first system check. 8. Uninstalling everything again to trim the cables to their final length, and then in step 9 it will be reinstalled and thoroughly tested. Step 10, last but not least, a test flight over the stunning Swiss glaciers and mountains.
It feels like a new airplane.
The upgrade was done by Seifel Aviation in close collaboration with Avionic, which are both the sponsors of this video. Thank you for supporting aviation content creators like us and giving us the chance to accompany the rebuild. A customized project like this is quite complex and requires a lot of preparation in advance. Some parts, for example, were ordered over 1 year ago due to their long lead times. After the successful ferry flight to Speck Aerodrome, an airfield nearby Zurich, we asked Martin about the reason for such an expensive upgrade. I'm sure you remember Martin from our amazing flight adventure video where we landed with this SR22 in the world-famous Courchevel Altiport.
We are sitting in a SR22 TN. Today it's 15 years old. Nobody still uses a mobile phone or a laptop computer which is 15 years old. And it's the same with the Avionics. It's the 5th last airplane built with Avidyne, and unfortunately Garmin was not yet available when we ordered the airplane. About the age of the Avionics. The two Garmin 430W, there are no spare parts available anymore. If you look at the Garmin page, if you want to download the pilot's manual, then it says this device is not supported anymore. And we have some problems with the enter buttons. There are no enter buttons available anymore. I would say time to replace. We operate a couple of SF50 Cirrus Vision Jets with Garmin 3000 installed. And we try to have the new Avionics here in this airplane as close as they are in the SF50 to have some similarities and to make training easier. And the best point in the new airplane will be the GFC 500 autopilot with the yaw damper. With the same indications in the flight mode annunciators, with the same names of the buttons, that will make life for me as an instructor considerably easier.
So shortly to recap, we have an all Avionics system in this SR22, and the new system will be a G500 TXI, actually two of them, a GTN 750, a GTN 650, and for the backup instrument, a Garmin GI 275 will be installed. As it combines altitude, attitude and airspeed indicator, there is free space for an additional panel to control the PFD. And a GFC 500 autopilot system. So really top of the line stuff here in this SR22, and it will be fully spec'd. Today is all about removing all the old parts, so let's have a closer look.
And here we have the old analog backup instruments, the attitude indicator, airspeed and altimeter. These three units will be replaced by a new modern Garmin GI 275 all-in-one standby instrument with internal backup battery.
It's now exactly 1 week later. Let's check what happened. As you can see, they removed all the seats. And the reason for that is that a lot of cables, control units, and for example the motor for the autopilot are below the cabin. So everything is connected below. For example, the GPS antenna cables going to the rear seats. Then we have the cables from the autopilot control units going below the aircraft to the actual motor of the autopilot. Then in the cockpit you can see there are still some old cables, kind of childhood memories for me when I see cables like this, and they will remove all these cables today to make it ready for all the new cables. Talking about cables, let's go to Zurich to Avionic, because there they've already prepared the cables for the new Avionics system. So welcome here at Avionic. We can already see some progress here. We have here the prepared brackets, then we have the MFD already somehow connected, and here will be the PFD for the pilot. Looks quite complicated, this whole wiring. A very interesting part is as well that every wire has to be labeled. So they have here a special label printer, and in the back you can see already all the printed labels for all the missing cables. Let's go now back to Speck in Pfäffikon to see what is the progress during the whole day, because they should have removed all the panels and everything. Another week later, and as you can see in the back, the cabin is fully empty. They removed everything. The only thing, some old cables are still there. They will remove these as well in this week, and next week they're gonna start to install the new cables. Let's stay tuned for that. Let's check out how is the current status. Since last time they removed the old antenna, and currently they are installing the new cables for the new antenna. The new antenna is a little bit smaller, and as they did not remove the old antenna when they painted the whole aircraft new, there will be a surrounding without any paintings. So they now have to also paint this surrounding, this spot. This was not planned and could lead to a little bit of delay. As a non-technical guy, for me it's incredible to see this craftsmanship which is behind. It looks like you have to solve a huge impossible riddle or puzzle with all these cables, and the factor who makes it even more difficult is that you have to solve this riddle in a small aircraft cabin. Week number 5, and since the last time a lot of new things happened. They already installed almost the whole new wiring, and in the back they installing currently the new autopilot system. The new wiring looks much lighter, as the new system doesn't need so many cables anymore, and also the new hardware is lighter than the old one. That's the reason why, hopefully, the final upgraded aircraft will be a little bit lighter. We're gonna check this out later. They just got the new panel, and as you can see, it almost fits perfectly. The new screens will be a little bit wider than the old ones, but not as tall. The new panel has no glove box anymore, as the things stored inside often fell out during takeoff, which was definitely a safety issue. So now it's removed entirely, and the freed space is used by a TCAS and 2 USB-C ports. On the very left side you can see the new Garmin Glide button, which supports the pilot during the unlikely event of an engine failure.
And now the first system check. They have now installed the different panels in the plane for the first time and are testing if all devices are correctly recognized by each other and work in unison. After successful tests, they defined the lengths of the cables, removed the panels and cables again, and trimmed them to their final length. Right after, they can install them into their final position. Before testing in flight, they simulate various flying procedures on the ground, for which they have highly specialized equipment. For example, they have an air pump that simulates the airflow through the pitot tube and then compares them with the indication on the displays. This step is crucial to ensure that everything is in perfect working order before the aircraft is returned to service. Only then they will start to put in back all the cabin elements like seats and floor mats. And now, for your enjoyment, the final result.
It's worth it. It feels like a new airplane, and it is a new airplane. The avionics are as sophisticated as in our SF50 jet.
Thanks to the new leather pedal, you even can feel like in a new car the smell of a new aircraft. And what I also like personally is the carbon finishing here on the panel. It really looks like a very sporty aircraft, which actually it is. So the flight is already almost over. We are currently at 3,400 feet inbound VF4 Sierra point of Zurich and gonna land on runway 28. So see you on the ground. On the ground again. Unfortunately, we were not able to test out all the IFR features due to the spontaneous planned flight. There were no IFR slots available, but nevertheless we went for a nice mountain ride and explored nice features also for VFR flying. So now the question is, how do you like the almost new aircraft? How do you like the upgrade? Would you do it for your aircraft? Do you think it's worth it? Comment down below, and as always, like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.